Walter Hansen grew up on a farm. He went to college and became an English major, much to the surprise of his father and consternation of his relatives. When I read the story of The Undeclared Major by Will Weaver, I felt like Walter Hansen's experience paralleled my own. I grew up on a farm, and college wasn't something that was particularly valued in our home. When I did settle on a sign language interpreting major, I believed that God was calling me to this line of work. But plenty of people were and still are unimpressed with that decision. Either they think it's too much education, or they think it's not a real degree. Sometimes, like Walter, I have to step back and realize that as important as school is to me, it is equally as important for me to connect with what is dear to my heart outside of school. I still bake my own homemade bread. I still have a little garden, and I grow kale and beets. These are ways that I can recharge and find an out from school. Another way that I recharge is in the expression of music. God has blessed me with many talents, and sometimes I have felt that it would somehow maybe be holy or humble to neglect one of my talents. For example, I play the harp. My grandparents have talked with me numerous times, warning me not to become proud that I'm a harpist, that I have that ability. I've almost wondered, well, should I ignore my musical ability? Is it showing pride on my part that I'm developing it? But in truth, God could still reach the hearts of people without my music ministry. Nevertheless, He's given me the talent, and I want to develop it. Immanuel Kant speaks to this somewhat in the last sentence of page 320, and many of my examples are coming from this book, Leading Thighs That Matter. He says that a rational being necessarily wills that all his faculties should be developed, inasmuch as they are given him for all sorts of possible purposes. And truly, if God has blessed me with an ability or a talent, it would actually dishonor Him if I buried it. Just like the man in the parable who buried his talent. I don't want to do that. So this nature and musical expression, these are ways that I recharge, spiritually and emotionally. Nature is God's second book, it has been said, and I think that this is why outdoor work is so recharging to me, because it addresses my emotional needs as well as my spiritual needs. Annie Dillard spoke of the experience she had of meeting a weasel in the wild. Her life and that of the weasel intersected for a brief moment, and that moment gave her a certain amount of recharging that she needed to continue her daily work. But maybe the question would surface, what if I don't have nature or the wild close by? What if I can't reach it? And what if I don't have an instrument to play with music? How do I recharge then? I've appreciated our class discussion just today and the reminder that technology is not an end in and of itself. It's useful as it promotes achievement of goals, but sometimes, too often, it hijacks time and interest. Relationships become subordinate to our phones and computers. I believe if they are not careful, they can interrupt our communion with God. But I think that one way to recharge would be the omission of technology, not just the addition of nature and of music or whatever it is that would recharge. So sometimes recharging can happen by addition or omission. I pray that God will help me to be more intentional about taking time to recharge with Him in nature and in music. I'm so thankful for the opportunities He gives me, and I want to take advantage of them.